While the modern era of Doctor Who's success is perhaps attributed to the likes of David Tennant as the 10th Doctor and Matt Smith as the 11th incarnation of a character, we've always got to remember who kickstarted the era of New Who. This is the 9th Doctor actor, Christopher Eccleston. Despite having one of the shortest tenures as an actor for the role of the Doctor, he is rather memorable in his portrayal of the 9th incarnation of the Doctor. However, since departing Doctor Who following the first season of the show's revival, Eccleston has not had the most positive outlook on the show. When fans flock to conventions to ask him about returning in episodes like the 50th anniversary special, Eccleston does not hold back on his thoughts about the show. With the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who approaching later this year, many now wonder if he will return. Why did Christopher Eccleston leave Doctor Who in the first place? What were his reasons for leaving a show that would become so massively successful? Could he have stayed for another season of the show, and will we ever see him return on TV? Today on Tardis Central, we take a look back in time. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Doctor Who news, lore and more, hit that follow and subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Tardis Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Doctor Who universe.
I'm the Doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life.
The first episode of New Who hadn't even aired on the 30th of March 2005, when the BBC announced that Christopher Eccleston would be stepping down as the Time Lord. They claimed that he was doing so to avoid being typecast and claimed that he was tired. In reality, he was tired of the producers and the work environment, not physically tired. However, the statement seemed to make out that this was the case and really threw Eccleston under the bus. Then they quoted him as saying that he hoped viewers would continue to enjoy the series. Shockingly, Eccleston hadn't made any statement at all, and the BBC were forced to apologise for making up false quotes. They also confirmed it had been known as early as January, and that he would not return as it was arranged to be kept private until a later date, but the news later leaked and the trust was broken. Later on, fans would discover the real reason that Eccleston left. For years, Christopher Eccleston hinted at toxic work culture and behind-the-scenes politics playing a part in the complete breakdown of his relationship with the showrunner, Russell T Davies, and producers Phil Collinson and Julie Gardner. A popular actor who had worked with Russell T Davies previously on The Second Coming, Eccleston had a great working relationship with the writer, but it all went downhill. In 2019, Eccleston said at New York Comic Con and spoke out about the events behind the scenes that led to his departure. Watch it here.
Is that my phone? That's Russell T Davies. Don't say it. In the UK, they never talk about the positives. When I left, all they wanted to talk about was why I left. They never wanted to talk about the fact that I'd done 13 episodes. We have a tradition of the gutter press in the UK, so I had to deal with them. I left because my relationship with the showrunner and the producer broke down. The politics of the show. I left only because of those three individuals and the way they were running the show. I loved playing the character and I loved the world. And that's one of the reasons I've started doing these conventions, to make that clear. I love playing the Doctor. And I felt I'm going to play the Doctor my way and I'm not going to get involved in these politics, and that wasn't workable, so off I went. Yeah. And became the Invisible Man.
Speaking about the 50th anniversary, Eccleston said that he was asked to be involved but felt it was better to skip the project, which he felt led to something even better happening with the creation of the War Doctor. This is what he had to say about the 50th.
Were you asked about the 50th episode?
I was asked about the 50th episode, and it was written by Stephen Moffat, so obviously I was really interested. But when I read the script, I felt that it was basically myself, Matt, and Dave riffing off the fact that we used to be the Doctors. I personally didn't feel the narrative was strong enough, particularly for the 9th Doctor, because I'd taken quite a lot of abuse in my own country when I left. As the show was being celebrated, I was being abused in the press, and that was hard to take and very confusing. So I looked at it and I thought, is this really the way I want to come back? And I decided it wasn't. And there were other factors, political factors. But what's interesting, I mean, I've read a lot of scripts, so I understand the strength of scripts. And then I was sent the new draft, which was without me and with the late, great, and one of my big heroes, John Hurt. an amazing actor, and he was the War Doctor, and I just thought that script was immaculate.
Yeah.
And I think it added to the canon of Doctor Who in the way that me coming back wouldn't. I think the War Doctor's was a brilliant working of Stephen Moffat's imagination, and I loved watching him do that.
Yeah.
More recently, at Dragon Con in 2021, he spoke about events again, reiterating about how he felt left out due to a breakdown in his relationships with the crew behind the scenes. He does continue to air his grievances politely, while saying all that he needs in order to make his point. The Ninth Doctor may not be on screen anymore, but there are still plenty of stories with him. While Christopher Eccleston is not the biggest fan of going back to the BBC for Doctor Who, he has been working with Big Finish Productions over the last few years. Despite things having soured nearly 20 years ago and vowing to never return, Eccleston has made a big return to the Whoniverse in audio dramas. At Dragon Con in 2021, he spoke about his experiences in returning to the role of the Ninth Doctor, how much he has enjoyed it, and praised the standard of writing.
I loved it. I was surprised. Obviously, I've run my career on writers. You're only as good as your writer as an actor, and the standard of Big Finish's writers, their ability, having never written for the television series, to capture the voice of that character is really, it's very impressive. And I found it, I do remember the first day, it was just before Christmas, a couple of weeks before Christmas. I went to a studio in this horrible industrial estate, God knows, somewhere in London, miserable place. It was pandemic time, so I was alone. Usually when you do an audio drama, you're together with the actors, you have time to hang out. Nothing, it was just me and the gentleman who was recording the whole thing. We were masked, the director was dialing in, all the other actors were dialing in. But I found myself doing it, and it all came back very easily. My sound engineer just kept saying to me, "Can you stop moving?" Because I was banging the mic, buttons were rustling. Because my Doctor was quite physical, and I had to kind of, I should do it in a straitjacket, really. But it all came back, and it's a lovely way to do it. And I'm going into the studio in 3 weeks to record more.
Despite skipping the 50th anniversary celebrations, Eccleston has recently revealed he will be taking part in the 60th, but wait a second, with his Doctor starring in a series of Big Finish audios. Yep, there's your catch. Once in the Future is a big audio event which will see multiple Doctors come together. According to the synopses for the series, it's the Time War. The Doctor has been injured and brought to a Time Lord field hospital. His body glows with energy, but there is no regeneration into a future form. Instead, the Doctor's past faces begin to appear, and he flips haphazardly between incarnations. Staggering to his Tardis, the Doctor sets out to solve the mystery of his degeneration. Who has done this to him, how, and why? From Earth to the stars across a rare familiar time and places, he follows clues to retrace his steps, encountering old friends and enemies along the way. Tumbling through his lives, the Doctor must stop his degeneration before losing himself completely. Now, when teasing his role in the audio drama event, Eccleston said, "I've recorded something very special for the 60th anniversary, and for me, it was all like working with this incredible actor and incredible human being called David Warner." David Warner was extraordinary, and if any actor should have been the Doctor, it should have been David. And since this project had been recorded, David Warner has sadly passed away, which means it will be one of his last projects in working on Doctor Who and with Christopher Eccleston. It won't be too long until we can enjoy this new adventure, and one thing is for certain, we're all glad that Eccleston has found a way to overcome his troubled past with the show and find a place where he can feel at ease and continue to bring joy at his popular incarnation of the Time Lord. I'm sure many appreciate it, and if you've not listened to the Big Finish audio dramas yet, we heavily suggest you do so. So, what do you think of Christopher Eccleston's reasons for leaving Doctor Who? Would you like to see him don the number 9 leather jacket style again? I would. Let us know what you think in the video comments below. If you want to keep up to date on the latest Doctor Who news, lore and more, then hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Tardis Central. You can also follow us on social media for daily updates on the Doctor Who universe. That's it from Tardis Central, I've been Jack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
But I am coming back.
What?
Yeah. I'm going to do the 100th anniversary. Look at me.
Did you all see the way my heart stopped?
In 2063, the 9th Doctor will return.
I mean,